Good morning, students. In our last class, already we have talked about the five kingdom classification. In the five kingdom classification system, the five kingdoms are mainly Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. So, in our today's session, we are going to discuss mainly the kingdom Monera and kingdom Protista. So, first, we will talk about the kingdom Monera. So kingdom Monera you can see here. It is the oldest and most abundant organism, means Monerans are actually the primitive organisms, the oldest organism. Obviously they are prokaryotic, they are unicellular, microscopic. We can't see them without microscope. Undergo asexual reproduction mainly. Prokaryotes are single-celled organisms. They are the smallest, simplest organisms. Now, what are the characteristics of kingdom Monera? So, already I have told you that kingdom Monera or Monerans are mainly primitive organisms. They are prokaryotes and they are single-celled or unicellular. They don't have nucleus, membrane-bound nucleus they are lacking, and also they are not having membrane-bound organelles. As organelle, they are only having ribosome. Only they are having ribosome as organelle. Sometimes they are having cell wall, but not all of them. They can make photosynthesis, but here also not all of them. Few can make photosynthesis, few can do photosynthesis, not all. Their mode of nutrition may be autotrophic or heterotrophic, because already I have told some of the Monerans can do photosynthesis but not all of them. So those who can do photosynthesis, they are obviously autotrophic, and those who can't, they are in the category of heterotrophs. And the examples mainly all bacteria, it includes all bacteria, blue-green algae, cyanobacteria and mycoplasmas. These are the examples of Monerans. You can see the pictures also. So here you can see the diagram of a typical bacterial cell. That is very important. The label structure of a bacterial cell. In your book also you can see this is the diagram of the labeled bacteria. So what are the main parts? You can see here the diagram of the bacteria diagram. Cell wall, this one is cell wall. Out of the cell wall, one more layer is present covering the bacterial cell. You can see here that one is capsule. So capsule is the outermost covering or outermost layer of the bacteria surrounding the cell wall. Inside the cell wall, obviously you know that will be the plasma membrane or cell membrane. So three types of membranes or coverings are there in the bacterial cell. Covering just the cytoplasm, you can see cytoplasm, that is the fluid material present inside the cell. Covering this cytoplasm, first layer is cytoplasmic membrane or cell membrane or plasma membrane, same all. Now covering the cytoplasmic membrane, the second layer is cell wall, And out of the cell wall, the outermost covering of the bacterial cell is known as capsule. So from outside to inside, the covering should be like that: capsule, cell wall, cytoplasmic membrane or cell membrane. Here you can see all the parts, main parts. Now here you can see covering the bacterial cell, all the hair-like projections are present. These all hair-like projections are known as pili. Here you can see pili. The function of pili is to help in movement. So these all are pili structure. These pili are helpful in movement purpose. One more structure is present that is also helpful in the movement, that is the flagellum. You can see this is the flagella, this one. This flagella also helps in movement. Now cell wall function you all know. The structure that support and protect the bacterial cell. Cytoplasm, you know, the fluid part around the organelles. Not so many organelles are there, only ribosome is present. Here you can see no membrane-bound organelles are present in the bacterial cell, only the ribosomes. It is suspended in the cytoplasm. Ribosome, the function of ribosome is to make proteins. Flagellum, I have told already, it is for movement. And lastly, the chromosomes, because you know proper nucleus structure is not present here. Nucleus structure, mainly nuclear membrane, is absent. So the primitive structure of the nucleus is known as nucleoid. Here you can see nucleoid. Here you can see as a nucleoid only the circular DNA it is present. DNA full form deoxyribonucleic acid. So the circular DNA only is present inside the cytoplasm, which is known as nucleoid. Nucleoid is the primitive nucleus material or genetic material. And you know this DNA or chromosomes are for the genetic information. Now next is the shapes of the bacteria. That is also very important. Shapes of the bacteria. Mainly 4 types of shapes are there: cocci, bacilli, vibrio, and spirilla. In your book also these 4 types of shapes are present. 4 types of shapes are mentioned. So cocci, these are mainly the spherical bacteria. According to the numbers of the spherical cells of the bacteria, the cocci are of different types. You can see here, if the 2 spherical cells are together, it is known as diplococci. Example, it is given, Streptococcus pneumoniae is the example of diplococci. If more than 2, sometimes it is known as tetrad, if 4. If it is in number more than 4, it is sarcina. And if so many spherical bacterial cells are attached together one by one and form a chain-like structure, it is known as streptococci. So streptococci, these are chain-like structures. One after another spherical bacterial cells are attached. Example is Streptococcus pyogenes. And lastly, the staphylococci, you can see here, staphylococci. So many bacterial cells, spherical bacterial cells are attached together to form a cluster or grape-like shapes. You can see here, cluster or grape-like shape, that is known as staphylococci. Example, Staphylococcus aureus. So mainly you have to learn this 3 cocci, diplococci, 2 spherical cells are together, streptococci, Many spherical cells are attached together to form a chain-like structure. And staphylococci, so many spherical bacterial cells are together to form a cluster or grape-like shape. This is known as staphylococci. Now, bacilli, these are the rod-shaped bacteria. Here also so many bacilli or rod-shaped bacteria can form chain-like structure. This is known as chain of bacilli. Some single rod-shaped bacteria may contain the flagellum. These are known as flagellate rods, and some can form the spores. These are known as spore formers. Mainly the bacilli are the rod-shaped bacterium. Next, in others, you can see first one is Vibrios. Vibrios are mainly the comma-shaped bacteria. The shape resembles the comma. Next one is, example of the Vibrio is Vibrio cholerae, which can cause the cholera. Already you have learned in the standard 6. Now next one is Spirilla. Spirilla, they are mainly the spiral shaped. You can see here, this one is spiral shape. Spiral shaped Spirilla, example Helicobacter pylori. Lastly, one is there, when the spiral shaped is, means there's in spiral form more, that is known as Spirochetes. This one, more spiral in structure. Example Treponema pallidum. So from here you have to mainly learn the cocci, bacilli, vibrios and spirilla. In cocci you have to learn diplococcus, streptococcus, staphylococci, bacilli, rod-shaped bacilli, example one example for bacilli, and others vibrios, comma-shaped bacteria, example Vibrio cholerae, and spirilla, spiral-shaped bacteria, example Helicobacter pylori. This much is very, very important. Next, the beneficial effects of bacteria. First, you can see in the beneficial effects, decomposition of organic material. You know that bacteria act as the natural scavengers, means they can decompose the organic waste products rapidly and can form the manures or organic fertilizers. So they help in the decomposition of organic material. Next one, nitrogen fixation in some plants, mainly legumes. What are the legumes? Legumes are mainly the all the pulses, peas, these all plants. So these plants need nitrogen for their formation of the products. Okay, so nitrogen, protein products they are mainly forming. So for that, nitrogen is very, very essential, but they can absorb from the air directly. So for that, one bacteria is there named Rhizobium, found in the nodules of leguminous plants. They make the nodules in their root, they forms the nodules, and in that nodules the bacteria mainly lives. Rhizobium, they can absorb the free nitrogen from the air and convert it into the nitrates, which can be used by the plants for producing their products, their crops. Now third one is used to make antibiotics. So many bacteria are there like the Streptococcus, which are helpful in making the antibiotics. Not only antibiotic, vitamin B complex tablets are also formed from the bacteria. Next one is food production. Bacteria help in the formation of yogurt, curd. By the process of fermentation, they actually convert the milk sugar into the lactic acid. Mainly bacteria Lactobacillus helps in this process, fermentation process, forming the curd, yogurt, these all things. And also bacteria act upon the fruit juice, ferment it and produce vinegar, wines, these all things. Bacteria, these are all also helpful for the production of or the flavoring of cheese. Next is used as a tool in genetic engineering in the lab for the studying of the genetic engineering or genetic study. The bacteria are very, very useful as a tool. Now tanning leather tanning industry, they are using bacteria. Curing tobacco, this is also used in the tobacco industry. And bioleaching is a process to extract minerals from ore. In that process also bacteria are helpful. Some useful bacteria also live in our intestine, large intestine mainly, and produce so many vitamins like vitamin C, B12, all these. So you can see here so many beneficial roles are there for bacteria. Next, the harmful effects. Apart from the useful effects, the bacteria are harmful also. They cause so many diseases in plants, animals, cause food poisoning, spoilage of food, rotting of fruits, vegetable, meat, so many things. So here you can see harmful microbes, many bacteria produce toxins to spoil our food, leading to food poisoning. Harmful microbes can spoil our leather, clothing, etc. Harmful microbes cause diseases in humans, animals and plants. So students, today we have discussed about the kingdom Monera. Next class we will discuss about the other kingdoms. Till then, bye and have a nice day.